That's how I normally do it. Don't do that. That's why. Don't take the mick.
So today,
I really have my work cut out for me today. I have a filthy countryside Nissan Navara to tackle. So today I'm going to be using a range of products from DetailedOnline. So DetailedOnline sent me a selection of products, and it's been hard for me to try and figure out what to use today because I actually own a bunch of their products already. This has been a company that I've been buying products from for a while now, and I really like a lot of their products. So today I'm actually going to be mixing and matching some products which they've sent, some products which are my own, and because it's a big job, I'm going to get some help today to tackle this with the missus again. So I'm going to be mostly behind the camera today while she does most of the work. That's the way it's supposed to be. Stop poking me. Right, okay. Let's go out to the car. Let's have a look at the state of it now, and then we'll get cracking on the work. So we're giving the car a quick rinse just to soak it right now, just to see if we can get the water to soak and soften some of the dirt. Here we're blasting it off the wheels, and you can see this really is a vehicle which attends farms all over the countryside here, with the off-road tyres to match too. The wheel arches are absolutely full of dirt, mud, any kind of off-road debris. My driveway really needed a rinse after this. Now we're using the pressure of the pressure washer to try and push off some of the dirt on the car, because the less there is, because the more we can remove now, the less we have to fight with later, and the contact wash becomes that little bit safer. So the car's had a thorough pre-rinse, and as you can see, it's still dirty. So obviously we've knocked off the surface dirt, but the sun is drying the paint out now, and you can see here there's still a whole bunch of dirt left over. So we need to get in here with some chemicals now to see if we can break it down. So we're going to be using a snow foam. In this case, it's DetailedOnline's Lava V2. Now this is a high cleaning snow foam. They make a normal lava, which is the pH neutral version, but this one is stronger. So we're going to see how well this breaks down the dirt on the car, and we'll let it dwell for as long as we can without drying out, hopefully. And here the snow foam is being applied with DetailedOnline's very own wide bottle, wide mouth snow foam lance. I'm a real fan of this thing. And you can see here the snow foam that's coming out is a lovely thick consistency. It's a really lovely thick foam. And it smells quite nice too. So we're giving the car a good bathe in foam and allowing that to dwell. You can see all the foam pouring off the car, catching on the side steps. I'd call that luxuriously thick. Now time for the wheels and tyres. I'm just going over them with an all-purpose cleaner here and a tyre scrubbing brush to make sure we remove as much grime and dirt from the tyre walls as possible before we dress them towards the end. Now there's the Hyper Gel wheel cleaner, a gel-based wheel cleaner, so it clings to the wheels a little bit longer. I'm spraying it onto the barrel brush here as well. Nice big thick spokes mean I've got big gaps to be able to get this brush into. Very nice. And the cleaner was definitely foaming up in between the spokes, and my brush was filthy afterwards. Now moving on to a wheel face brush. This is a Vican wheel face brush to get onto the faces of the spokes and in between those V sections, and obviously into the wheel nuts too. A nice clingy thick foam on this. Of course, she's pointing out the bits that I've missed. Much nicer now though. Now I sprayed on some iron fallout remover. It's a different brand's product, but just to find out how much iron fallout was left there, and there was a fair bit before rinsing it off. It looked much nicer. Alright, so the car has now been snow foamed, rinsed off and allowed to dry, and you can see there is much less dirt sitting on the car. So the snow foam really has done its job and it has attacked some of the dirt on the car. That means that the contact wash will now be a little bit safer. It's taken some of the effort out of it. So Lava V2 is definitely a good cleaning snow foam, but there is still dirt there. You can see where there's been some handprints on there and there's a line of dirt. So definitely still needs a contact wash, but there is less to tackle. Speaking of the contact wash, we're using Elite shampoo here. 40 milliliters into this bucket, which is a fairly full bucket. It's still a relatively runny shampoo, which is nice. It comes out of my measuring device nice and easily there. And that means it will mix into the water nicely. Dunking the hose in there to mix it into the water, then pull it out to blast some air in and bring up some frothy suds. You can see the suds are definitely carried within the mitt. I didn't have that much space for suds at the top of the bucket, but it was definitely transferring onto the car quite nicely, and it felt pretty good. Now after the car's been rinsed and dried, it's time to wax. Surreal ceramic wax on the left, Sublime show wax on the right. The ceramic wax obviously will have slightly more protective abilities. The show wax, not quite so much, but there is the hope that there would be more gloss. They both smell absolutely fantastic, though I am slightly more of a fan of the ceramic wax. That tropical scent is fabulous. Both waxes were easy to apply, though from my own experience, the show wax Sublime was just that little bit smoother and easier. Now on to the fast wax. This is the spray wax on the door. Unfortunately, Natalie doesn't have the best microfiber control methods. It's a little bit all over the place, but it did spread. And obviously we're working in direct sunlight here. You can see that wax hazing up almost instantly. However, a flip of the towel and it buffed right off. Keep in mind this car had absolutely no protection before we started on it. So any protection is good, and that spray wax was easy to use. This is the SiO2 Gloss Detailer, a product I've been using for a very long time and I really like it. Very slick and easy to apply, and again very slick and easy to wipe off. Now moving on to the Ceramic Elite Detailer. This can be used in a couple of methods. You can spray it on like I'm doing now and then work it in with a sponge applicator. And this would lay down a base layer of protection. You can then use it as a detailing spray on top. Technically speaking, you could also use it as a detailing spray on its own. But here I am just laying down the base coat of protection, where it does have a cure time of 4 to 10 minutes. Now looking at the water repellency, here on the rear door and further back there is no protection. You can see the water is clinging to the door on the left side, but it's repelling from the door on the right side. So here we're going to be trying the spray-on rinse-off protection product. which is nano sealant. Spray it onto a wet panel. You can spray relatively liberally, but you don't need loads. I've got 6 sprays on the door there, and here I'm just working down in vertical sections. Leave it for about 10 seconds, then take your pressure washer and simply rinse it off. You can see I also used it on the glass and it works perfectly there. But now those sections of paint and glass which had no protection before now have very nice beading and sheeting abilities. Super fast and easy. If we move over to the driver's door, this has had its cure time and it has been buffed off. And there you can see the water repellency there. Very nice. Moving on to the bonnet, it's had its buff, it's had its cure time, it's been buffed off. Both were about as easy as each other to buff off, but you can see the water behaviour here is fabulous. The pair of us were oohing and ahhing at this. Really lovely water behaviour. It was almost impossible to discern that the fact that there were 2 different waxes on this panel. I should point out I didn't decontaminate this panel at all. It was simply washed, dried and then waxed. It would probably behave better or perform better with a properly decontaminated panel, but we simply didn't have the time. You can see the difference there. Hardly anything. Fabulous water repellency. Beading, sheeting, everything going on there. This is the fast wax on the passenger door. And you can see very nice water beading behaviour going on there. For a simple spray wax, that's very nice indeed. Moving across to the rear door, this had the SiO2 gloss detailing spray. And that's excellent water repellency. I'm a real fan of this stuff. But when you look at them side by side, sprayed together, there's not much difference between them. Onto the interior, this is the natural dressing. You can see where it's been applied. This dashboard has been wiped over with a diluted all-purpose cleaner, so it's free of any dusts or greases, and just a few sprays onto the microfiber there. A small amount goes a long way with this stuff. It's really nice and it smells gorgeous. And you can see there on that center section, the left had been dressed and the right hadn't. Now the Ultra Shine dressing, this is a tire dressing and protector, though it does work for other trims as well if you prefer something shinier and slicker. But I had an issue here. My sprayer had basically died. And it happens. I'm just tipping it onto the applicator instead. It would have been nicer to spray it on. I would have been able to get more product onto the tire, but we have to work with what we have. As you can see here, it spreads quite well. It's not a super glossy product to start with. The initial application is somewhere of a mid-shine, somewhere in between a matte and a gloss. Still very nice, still darkens the tire, and obviously will add some water protection to it. But if you leave it for a while and come back and apply a second coat, you will get a shinier, glossier finish to your tire if that's something you prefer. And here onto some of the plastic trim, which is a bit faded and grey. Brings it back to a nice dark, deep, glossy finish. And the same here on the pillar trim. Very easy to spread. One thing I will say is if you are a bit heavy-handed with it, it can look a little streaky. So my recommendation would be that after you've applied this, leave it a few minutes, come back with a dry microfiber and buff off any residue that may be there, and you'll be left with a lovely deep look on your plastics and your rubber. Look at her, she's like a peacock. I'm sure she's looking at herself in that reflection. Right, okay, that's the job done. We can't keep a straight face because we keep putting each other off. Right, so the car's done. The car has now been washed, it's been sealed, it's been dressed, it's had different waxes and so on. So let's go through them quickly here where we can. So the lava snow foam, thick.
Lovely.
Lovely and thick, really thick, and it was effective. It did what some snow foams are supposed to do. I know some don't have much cleaning power, especially those which are pH neutral. This one is stronger. So 100ml of this to 900ml in the snow foam lance. Good thick snow foam. It does say actually use no more than 100ml. So you could possibly back that off a little bit and get a bit more use out of it. But very thick and effective. It definitely cleaned the paint, so happy with that. Then the shampoo, the Elite shampoo, that was a very nice smell actually. I enjoyed the smell. The dilution is 20 to 40ml, wasn't it? Yeah, 20 to 40ml per 40. 10 litres of water. So we used 40ml of this. Wasn't the slickest I've ever used, but it cleaned well. It was sudsy. It carried the suds through the wash. They didn't disappear. So that was nice enough to use. I like the colour on it too, very nice colour. But yeah, nice scent to that as well. Good shampoo. Then moved on to the wheels. The Hyper Gel. We did go through, but this is the trouble I have with gel-based wheel cleaners, is you go through them a bit more than runnier products. But the advantage of a gel-based product, it doesn't look particularly gel, but it is less viscous than some others. That means that it sticks to the wheels and helps to cling there and not run away from the wheels quite so much, so that cleaning the wheels becomes a little bit easier. So that was all right. It wasn't...
I don't particularly like cleaning wheels. So.
No, you were rubbish at it anyway. But yeah, that was a good wheel cleaner. It's certainly effective. It doesn't have any iron fallout remover in it. Some people like to have it in, some people don't. This one doesn't. So I did use iron fallout remover separately on the wheels to remove some of it. Those front wheels are very badly stained, so there was only so much I could get off of that. Realistically, they're going to need a really hard go with some abrasive products and some clay and things like that to really get rid of the whatever's on there. It's really horrible front wheels. The back wheels came up lovely though. Then we moved on to protection. So we had the waxes, that was yours.
Yeah.
Right, so it was the Surreal ceramic infused wax.
And the Sublime show wax.
Yeah.
Which is the nicest.
Well, you would say that. This one smells divine.
Smells even better.
No. It's nice, but this was nicer in my opinion. No. A nicer smell. Personal opinions. But what I did find was that this is a harder wax, and this one is ceramic infused. This one is a softer wax, and it's a Montan wax, so slightly different there. It did come away, it seemed to be, what did you say, it was more melty? Yeah. It's a more melty wax. So it was a bit more buttery smooth to apply to the paint than the ceramic wax. The ceramic wax wasn't difficult, but it just required a bit more effort than the Sublime. But that is a show wax as well. However, when it came to buffing off, they were about the same. There was very little difference between them. I think this one maybe just had a bit more effort to come off. Not by much though.
This one looked hazier on the paint.
Yeah, that one hazed up faster, which was interesting. But then you probably slapped a lot on. Again, it's a softer wax, so you would have been able to get more on there. So that's entirely possible. As far as the water behaviour on both of them, it was amazing. I mean, I really couldn't tell the difference between the two.
No, they looked exactly
we tried,
the same.
And they were fantastic. Really lovely beading, and they just wanted to rid the water off the bonnet really quickly. Looks-wise, they look pretty much the same. I can't really tell any difference between them. But I would say if you're looking for longer, better protection, a ceramic wax might just do that. This one takes 10 to 15 minutes cure time. That one is
10 to 20 minutes.
10 to 20, but that's a show wax. So it's a bit softer. It might not last quite as long as the ceramic wax, but still a very nice wax to use. Really, really good. Then in keeping with the wax, we went with the fast wax. You used that. So with a really rubbish cloth technique, microfiber technique.
Still learning.
I've used that in the past and it was nice. I only used it once and it gave me good water behaviour and it was nice and easy enough to put on. As a beginner, you would say it was...
It was easy enough to use, yeah. I'm just not very good with the microfiber.
Yeah, no, it was just going everywhere.
At least your style of using it.
No, that's all right. You'll learn. But it went on easy enough.
Yeah.
And it did seem to haze, but obviously we're using it in direct sunlight, which again is usually a no-no. I don't even know if it actually mentions not to use it. It does mention that it has proper carnauba protection here. There's carnauba wax in here. But it doesn't, I don't think there's anything about not using it in direct sunlight. But it did haze a little bit instantly, and then it just buffed off easily enough.
Yeah,
it didn't stick. So it's a nice spray wax if you like waxes. If you prefer sealants and the like, then we have a couple of products here. That was the Ceramic Elite Detailer. So this one can be used as a detailing spray, or it can be used as just a direct paint protection if you spread it around with a small soft sponge applicator. It goes on nice and easily, and you leave that to cure for 4 to 10 minutes. And that was nice. Smelled really good as well, actually. That smells. I'm not keen on this little tiny trigger sprayer. That's the only drawback. I would rather have a normal size sprayer. But again, it's a small bottle, so it would look a bit stupid. But yeah, good product. I've used that in the past before. That's really nice. Nice water behavior. Then there was the SiO2 Gloss Detailer. I've used this in the past. It was in my what is a detailing spray video. It'll be up here if you want to check it out. I've used this in the past. I've used it a lot. I really like this stuff because it goes on easy, it comes off easy, and it just leaves fantastic water protection. I mean, you saw it. It was just it just wanted to bead instantly.
That was really nice. I like that one.
I mean, you could use that not just as a detailer, but as a direct, paint sealant. Really nice stuff, that. And then there was the nano sealant, which is the spray on. So I'll put this right in front of your face. The nano sealant, spray on, rinse off stuff. You've seen these in the past. These are like wet coat products, and it just goes on easy, and it rinses off easy, and it gives you instant water repellency, instant hydrophobic behavior on the paint. And I tried this on top of the wax, and the wax was okay for water behavior. Sprayed this on top, and it made it even more hydrophobic. So really good, and also smells really nice too. And I used that on the windscreen as well, and it worked. It didn't streak or anything. Dried it off, lovely. So if you're short on time, you want to add protection to your car, really good stuff. Then we finally moved on to the dressings. So you've got the Ultra Shine and the Natural Dressing. So the Ultra Shine, I used that on the tyres and some of the trim around the car. It's very solventy. Also, the trigger sprayer died. Don't know what happened there. It happens from time to time. Good news I had a spare though. But yeah, this smells super solventy. I mean, it smells like petrol, doesn't it? Yeah, it's not nice smelling.
Smells like terps.
Oh, terps. Yeah, okay, go with that. But that'll mean that it's also going to be quite water repellent too. So it's going to want to shield against water. It's going to want to repel that. The natural dressing is, as far as I know, that's a water-based. It's got a lovely smell to it. That would be best for your interiors. You could use it on exterior dressing, but it won't on exterior plastics and trim. It won't last quite as long as this one. But for an interior dressing, it gave a nice matte finish, but it enriched it a little bit. You could see it on the dashboard, where it had been applied, where it hadn't, and it had that lovely smell, so it definitely refreshed some of the interior too. So both good products for specific situations. You would not use this inside. Don't use this inside because you'll stink your car out. But if you want your car inside to smell nice, that one is the one to go for. So yeah, both good products, just have their own particular purposes. Anyway, thank you very much to DetailedOnline for sending down what you did. Like I said, I've used them in the past, so there are some products here I've been using that that they didn't send, and that's just because I like some of their products. If you want to check them out, I will leave a link to the website down in the description box below, so you can have a look and see what they've got. They've got some great deals on there for bundles too, and they have free delivery if that's your kind of thing. They've always got free delivery, which is awesome. Anyway, that's all for now. If you liked this video, please smash that like button. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe, and while you're there, make sure you ring the notification bell so you don't miss my next video. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching us again tackling this monster of a car. I've been Specky.
I've been Athley.
It's like the end of a weird TV show.
I know.
And I'll see you, maybe we'll see you in the next video.